This is John Robinson with Nite Muse Media, bringing you another Fireside story. This story begins not with a haunted house or a cursed object locked behind glass, but with a painting, a simple portrait of a child with tear-filled eyes. For years it hung quietly on the walls of homes across England, and nobody thought much about it at first. It was an inexpensive painting, it was widely sold, and strangely popular. But during the 1980s, something unusual began to happen. Homes started catching fire, and what investigators kept discovering was in several burned houses, one object remained intact, a small framed painting of a crying child. Again and again, firefighters reported the same thing. Furniture was destroyed, walls were blackened, ceilings collapsed, but hanging on the wall, untouched by the flames, was the crying boy painting. Word of this pattern began to spread, and soon newspapers picked up the story. The public quickly reached a chilling conclusion that the painting must be cursed. Before long, people across Britain began removing the paintings from their homes. Others brought them directly to newspaper offices, asking reporters to take them away. At one point, hundreds of the paintings were collected together, and to end the fear, a newspaper arranged a public bonfire. The paintings were burned, well, at least most of them were. Fire investigators later suggested that the prints had been coated with a fire-resistant varnish which helped them survive fires longer than other household objects. But another explanation was even simpler. When walls collapse during a fire, hanging pictures often fall face down, and that position protects the front of the painting from direct flame. In other words, the paintings may have survived simply because of gravity, but by then the legend had already taken hold. Even today, people occasionally claim to own a copy of the Crying Boy painting. Humans have always been very good at turning coincidence into legend, especially when the firelight flickers and the shadows start to move. So if you ever happen to come across a painting of a crying child hanging quietly on a wall, you might just pause for a moment. Not because it's cursed, but because stories have a funny way of attaching themselves to ordinary things. And once they do, they can last far longer than the flames that started them. And that is tonight's Fireside Story.